coach just coming in, and Mr. Chase receives a token as the train heads towards Haverhill platform. This film was taken in the 1950s. As you see, the footbridge is still there. The train now departs from Haverhill Station towards Cambridge. Not much activity at Haverhill Station. W.H. Smith bookstall's closed. Mr. Horace Eves walking along the platform. This was the forecourt of Haverhill Station. You should have guessed by now where this is. The old police station, Queen Square. And Glasswell's, which is now A.B. Hart's. The co-op before it was altered, and the High Street. Taken from the top of the Playhouse Cinema, looking up the High Street. And down, you notice merchants in the old post office. Cangle School. And the old shops of Queen Street. Fine Fair was just opening here. Woolworths hadn't yet been completed. Council officers haven't changed much. Cangle School, which is now boarded up and looks an eyesore. And the rope works, which is gone. The High Street here shows Copsy's fish shop and the florist. And as usual, the toilet locked up. in Hollins Road, where the start of RA refrigeration factory was being built. And not much else. The Relief Road hadn't been opened about 2 weeks. You can see Reg Richardson's house on the right hand side, since gone. The recreation ground. Notice the factory chimney. Standing there at the top of North Avenue, looking down Eastern Avenue, the road joining North Avenue was yet to be completed. Queensway, the fish shop, and looking towards the Clements and a view from the top of the water tower.
This is the second Haverhill flood, and the manhole is at the top of the hill at Ratting Road, near what's now called Westbourne Court. This is the Cangle corner underwater, quite sharp current on the water too. The windows reflected in the water. Later that morning we went back and the waters had receded, and it was possible then to get, with a little difficulty, into Queen Street. The parents had to go into the school to help clear up the damage. It was closed for several days. The boat was a little bit late. The water was well on its way down. This is the Rose and Crown Hotel. Queen Street still underwater. Or rather, demolition work of the houses where Mr. Mortlock used to live and Mrs. Stebbing by the old mill house in Ratting Road. The place that's now called Millfields Way ran round about here. It's early one Sunday morning. Mr. Turner's directing the traffic while his mates knock the houses down with the shovel of that excavator thing, dumper truck. The milkman's now moved on a bit further up the road. Atterton Ellis is at the other end of the town, and this is where they're making the last wagon wheel ever. Mr. Don Darking made all the wooden parts of the wheel, which are off to one side, and the fire is surrounding the iron tyre, heating it up, and then the tyre is put over the wood and watered quickly to prevent the wood burning, and it's now shrinking the parts, all the different wooden parts together to hold them in the wheel shape. Second tyre is now in the fire, out of the fire now, hot, being carried across to the wheel, the wooden parts of the wheel, which was already waiting for it. There's Don, proudly made the two wheels.
The wheels you've just seen belong to Neville Haylock of Hanshed End, and some 25 years later he gave me one, and we've now made a feature of it in our garden. This is Ratting Road and Station Road at Haverhill as it was in the 1900s. You see the old toilet at the bottom of the station road and the trees in the background. Haverhill Station, forecourt, with the station master's house on the left-hand side. This is the site as it is today. Ratting Road Bridge with the engine standing on the top. The same view showing the footbridge that replaced the railway bridge. Standing the other side of the station, looking towards Cambridge, the engine, the Sudbury train waiting for the off. As it is today. Standing between the platforms, looking towards Sturmer, the Haverhill station had just been closed in 1967. This is the same site. Looking towards the goods shed, which still stands. The goods shed is now the council depot. It's been added to. The old signal box been vandalised since the closure of the railway. I'm now standing on the same site. The railway engine you see is coming from behind the cricket ground towards Haverhill Station. Standing in the same position. Fibre Lane Bridge from the top, looking towards Haverhill Station. Sturmer Arches. Doesn't look possible that the Colne Valley Railway ran over this track. Standing on top of Sturmer Arches, and a view over the top, looking towards Hamlet Green. Fibre Lane Bridge. You used to be able to turn right here and go along and up the Chalkstones. cattle dock, or the platform of it, still stands, and the goods yard, coal yard, and still visible is the iron gutter or curbing, part of the original footpath. Now looking down Station Road towards the Rose and Crown and our new roundabout. At Wood Green Animal Shelter, near Godmanchester, they have a bit of old Haverhill, the fountain, which stood at the junction you have just seen on the last shots. Ruffles Mill, the only annular mill in the country. It was said to be a landmark to lead the German aircraft to Strathspey Aerodrome, so it was demolished in 1940. It stood in the Millfield Road area of Haverhill. This is an early view taken from the air of Haverhill. You see Haverhill Church, the recreation ground. This was Clement's Lane. There's first meadow, second meadow, gravel pit meadow with the gravel pit, and Cuckoo. The Clements estate on this site now hasn't been started. This was Bedford's yard. And Reg Richardson's house. Another aerial view of Haverhill shows at the top picture here the fields of Withersfield and the village of Withersfield. You've got Withersfield Road coming in to the High Street, the old dependent church, St Mary's Church is here, and the railway station and Buffer Depot. Beyond the old independent, down the hamlet, Manor Farm Dairies and the Hamlet Croft. In closer detail, you have the old independent church, St Mary's Church, Gurteens factory showing the factory chimney. The relief road was not yet built. Lordscroft Lane finished here, and the footpath through to Reg Richton's house. Bedford's Yard is here, and Fibre Lane goes across here. The railway station is at the top of the picture, with the houses of Ratting Road. The Downs estate was not built here, but it shows the houses of Coran Road and my house at the end of the garden. Hovis Mill stands out. The Corn Exchange, the West End, and the cattle pens of the old sale yard behind. Addis factory, with the old silk factory, the oldest part of Addis, in the foreground. Another aerial view of Haverhill. On this view, you can see the railway line coming from Birdbrook, the Coal Valley to Coal Valley Station. The line also comes round over Sturmer Arches and down beside the Sturmer line down at the Haverhill station. This shows it in more detail, with the Coal Valley line coming in by the Hamlet Croft and finishing behind Addis. The relief road has been built here, and this shows Atterton Arches, Atterton Ellis, Healy Metals and projects. Gurteens factory, the old mat factory, and the chimney which used to stand 90 foot tall. St Mary's Church Tower stands 80 foot tall. Notice the old houses round the church, Pease Hill. This shows the cricket ground. The sports centre hasn't been built yet, but it also shows an old familiar footpath called Fibre Lane, which goes from here, Reg Richton's house, along underneath the railway and up the Chalkson Hills. Fibre Lane got its name by the fibre waste from Gurteens factory being laid down and made a nice springy footpath. The Cangle corner showing the Woolpack and the Cangle School and Station Road. The Downs Estate leading off from Crowland Road. Our house in Crowland Road. And the gardens behind. Next door's greenhouse stands out. From Crowland Road you go across to the cemetery. And the cenotaph. Recreation Road and the recreation ground. These aerial photographs were kindly lent to me by John Ives. Pedestrianised, mostly on Saturdays. Finish our shot of Hollins in the High Street. Just look what stands outside. This used to be the Greyhound public house. The Greyhound's head is stood above the door. Chapman's shop used to be a chapel. My grandmother used to sing there in the choir. One of Haverhill's windmills used to stand here in Mill Road. The base of it has now been incorporated in this bungalow. Christmas's Brewery and Maltings used to occupy this site many years ago. It's now the doctor's. Hotel, or public house, in Haverhill. It's one of the oldest pubs in the town. And the doorstep, the pool, is the old millstone in one of the mills in Haverhill. We now have a modern library and sports hall for the children. With his own car park and a new car park behind Queen Street. It used to be occupied by Nuns the Basket Makers, an old Haverhill firm. And a walkway through the Queen Street. The Rose and Crown Hotel has been modernised and extended. It has a better garden and play area for the children. School, with a cast iron railing and ground. Made and fitted by John Atterton. Haverhill. Catholic Church Hall. Behind was the old swastikas in reversed order. These gargoyles could possibly come from St Botolph's Church and are now in the Haverhill Garden. Here are a selection of jugs and bottles from the Haverhill breweries. This one was a 1930 with a screw top. This is a serving mug. And this is a Victorian drinking mug. One of the oldest houses in Haverhill, in Camps Road, and this of the Camps Road with the part of the recreation ground taken January 1994. More or less the same position in Camps Road, showing the old Place Farm as it was in the 1940s. More views of Haverhill Station. Taken also in the 1940s, 50s. Yard as it was. A signal box. Booking office. The forecourt of the station. Train coming in from Sturma. A view from the diesel cab going towards Burberg on the Colne Valley line. Cambridge University used to run a train on Sunday afternoons from Cambridge to Haverhill. This is a shot going under the Hollins viaduct. This is the same university train coming down the Hollins cutting. Chapman's shop, an Unman's house with a greenhouse or conservatory on the end. Forecourt of Cleel's garage and the doctor's surgery, which used to stand next door. A.B. Hart's shop was next door to the doctor's in the High Street. and Cleo's showroom and the playhouse. (1920s). Haywood's garage on the left-hand side. You can just see the corner of the Temperance Hotel on the right-hand side. The Meadows, taking 1906. The High Street, taken in the 1900s. The Old Folks' Rest. This was taken in 1906. The Old Vicarage, Hamlet Road, 1908. The Meadows, taken from the bottom of Meeting Walk, 1908. The old Tangle School, called the Broad School, in 1903. (1906). Haverhill's Three Windmills, taken in the early 1900s. Hamlet Road, showing stone arches, taken in the 1920s. The recreation ground, looking towards Chauncey Road, taken in the 1900s. Note the young trees. The Mount, 1904. The Gurteen family lived here. Grace Gurteen would have been about 2 years old. Bumstead Road, as it was. Note the old signpost on the left-hand side. The Royal Exchange, High Street, taken in the 1920s. Haverhill Co-op in the High Street, taken 1915. Stone arches, looking towards Hamlet Green. The Meadows, looking from the Broadscroft Lane, with Fibre Lane leading off to the left, and once again Reg Richardson's house standing in the centre. At the top of Clarence Lane was the old isolation hospital. You were taken there when you got scarlet fever. Haverhill Town Hall. This was given to the town in 1883 by Daniel Gurteens Sr. Note the 2 gas lamps outside the town hall. This is an early photograph taken before any proper pavements had been laid. The building on the left with the porch became much later Withers Garage and is now the site of Provincial Insurance Building. This was Mason's Yard on the right hand side, opposite the provincial buildings, and across the street is now the Ram Pub, or which was the Ram Public House, now Glasswell's Furniture Store. Griffiths Jones is on the right hand side of this shot, next to the Red Lion Public House. Opposite side of the road would be Woolworths. This is taken in the 1860s of Chauntry House on the right hand side, with the wall was where Cleo's Garage used to be. The Haverhill Co-op, just newly built, taken from the top of the church tower. Top. This was taken in 1868. It shows the post office on the extreme right, which was a coffee house. The ladder leaning against the wall is the Bell Hotel. St Mary's Church gives a clue of this part of the town, with Peace Hill Slade on the side and the Co-op Butchers on the right hand side, which is now Murray's. In Withersfield Road is the Rose and Crown, of medieval origin. The man with the hand cart may just have brought someone's luggage down from the station. Haverhill North Station notices the iron footbridge has not been built, nor the canopies over the platform. And this was Mrs. Emma Gurteen, widow of Daniel Gurteen Jr. She poses in her gleaming carriage outside the conservatory of Dudley House. Chauntry Road, showing Gurteen's factory chimney in the background, with the milkman doing his round. Camps Road, St Mary's Church Hall on the left-hand side, now made or converted into houses. And the old brewery on the right-hand side and left-hand side, far distance, is now the laundry. Here we see the Co-op Butchers, as it was years ago, with Mr. Titus Sizer standing outside. Inside Gurteen's factory, the hair looms, making hair cloth for the clothing industry. About 1909. And this is the ready-made, making the ready-made clothing, sewing machines. They went powered by electricity. The steam engine was not fast enough to drive them. The old swimming pool at Haverhill Waterworks. It was murky water, and day the gents went the other. And this is at Hatchet Hall with a 1903 Panhard car. The building in the background still stands. The old folks rest on the recreation ground in Victorian times. This was the Greyhound public house where Gurteens factory gates are. If you look onto the right hand side of the factory gates, you'll see one of the Greyhound heads, which you can see on the front of the pub, still on the side of the wall. This was the White Horse public house. On the left hand side was Paul's the Ironmongers. You can see the gateway. Later to be Atterton Ellis Ironworks hardware shop. This was the Butcher's Arms. It's where the new White Hart public house stands. This was the Three Goats in the High Street. Provincial Insurance Building now occupies this site. Looking the corner of Camps Road and the co-op on the right hand side, which is now Graham's the Chemist. 1905. Showing the railway on the left hand side. The old White Hart public house being renovated, which stood on the corner of Dadry Road or Dadry Hill. The other side of the doctor's surgery was Cleo's. Burton Coaches